Personnel and Finance meeting to order. First item is approval of the agenda. Need a motion, please. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay. Number 3 is public comment. I don't see any public. Unless you guys want to talk. Do you guys want to talk? Okay. Number 4 is the minutes from the August 14th meeting. I need a motion for approval. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed?
Good morning, everyone. So you should have received from me via email the quarterly report. This is just an information report, don't need any action today. Come to you every quarter and give you an update as to what's going on in the office. So we'll do a quick run through of what I've presented here, and then if there's questions, I'd be happy to entertain those. So what we've been doing the past couple of 3 months, I did report out last time that I was approached by the medical care facility to begin investing some of their monies for them. And I have done as such as they requested a laddered investment portfolio with monies from the funded depreciation account was created in July, and I'll just continue to manage those investments per their request. Okay, so on to the auctions. We've held both auctions, tax foreclosure auctions. The first one was Wednesday, August 2nd. Here's some details for you. We had a total of 149 parcels that we offered for sale. The Village of Springport took 1 under their first right of refusal. Leone Township took 2 under their first right of refusal, and you'll see the dollars that they spent for purchasing those. So we ended up selling 30 parcels at the first auction, and the total dollar amount that we were able to bring in for those 30 parcels was $433,000 and $433,900. So not too bad for the small amount of parcels. What I'm seeing now with these auctions is we've got particular people coming in for particular parcels. We don't see large amounts of parcels being purchased by the same company or the same person. So, and for the most part, we had a full room, again, around 200 people, 150, and it kind of fluctuates because people come right at the very beginning and don't stay for the entire auction. But we had upwards to 200 people for the auction. So there are people that are coming, and there was some active bidding on a couple of the higher quality, and I'll use that term loosely, tax foreclosed parcels. So we're seeing good activity, good dollar amounts coming back in as a result of those smaller number purchases, but all in all, they seem to be more local people as well versus people who do not live in the state, which is always good. We'd like to make sure that the parcels, once they are foreclosed, that they are land in good hands and in good stewards. Yes?
Karen, do you think with the public knowledge that in the second auction they're going to be bundled, does that have any impact on people buying in the first, do you think? Or
100% it does.
Yep.
It forces people to come and pay what the minimum bid is versus the scavenger sale where they can get a parcel for $100. Absolutely. In fact, I have people ask me at the first auction, will this be made available? And the past 2 years, I've bundled the second auction. I said, now is your opportunity to buy them if you want them. So absolutely. So for the second tax foreclosure auction was held actually last Wednesday, September 6th. We bundled what remained, which was the 119 parcels. No one purchased that bundle. We did have 4 people attend and express interest in specific properties. The total dollars that we needed from both public auctions to make the delinquent tax revolving whole was $661,529.88. Now, we fell short of that mark, but not by much, because the city will be charged back for the purchase of the 85 parcels that they're taking from this tax foreclosure cycle. So we've invoiced them already. and they will be paying for those parcels. Once we receive payment, then we'll transfer the deed ownership over to the city, and they can do what they will with those 85 parcels. The next steps, now that the auctions are over, is that we will offer the remaining parcels in the townships, to the townships, to see if they wish to take those parcels, which they can do, per the guidelines set out in the law. If they deny those parcels, I think they have until December 1st. We usually give them end of November, December 1st to let us know if they want to take those. If they do not, then after the first of the year, we'll offer what remains for sale for public consumption. We work with our company, Title Check, and they put it on their website, and we've been successful with selling any surplus or remaining parcels that way. I think Commissioner Rice has a question.
Thank you. So when you subtract what the chargebacks for the city, looks like there's roughly 34 parcels left, which means those are the townships, correct?
Yes.
And so that being said, that's roughly $60,000 of delinquent tax from the townships themselves.
It's actually $41,449.14 is the total that we have, which is the difference.
Okay, I was only 19,000 off. All right, so I guess so my question is, you put on here that they'll be able to, you'll be able to put the parcels online
Yes.
after the first of the year.
Yes.
And I've known all this stuff for years, but for some reason this isn't clicking. So what about with the city as far as putting things online?
Well, the city's purchasing all of their 85.
Right.
There's 40, some that have structures on them, and I think they're going to continue their blight demolition program with those. I'm not 100% sure. With regard to that, I don't know if they're going to make those parcels available for sale and/or available online. That would be a question that we would need to ask the city.
But it would be the same thing if they did have some that, or if they didn't buy them, it'd be the same thing as with the townships that's happening, correct?
Yes, well, but they're purchasing.
Right, in this case, but I'm
Yes,
just saying, if
correct.
they didn't, it'd be the same principle.
Yes.
Okay, next thing that, we had a conversation about, remember about Hague Street?
Yes.
Okay, can you tell me if anybody bought that?
No.
Oh, boy, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, then lastly, just wanted to update all about the staffing changes that are going on in the treasurer's office. I'm losing my right hand, not literally, figuratively speaking. My chief deputy, Diane Donaldson, is retiring effective October 1st, and I've already hired a replacement. Colin Treacher will be the new chief deputy treasurer. They're in training as we speak, and we'll continue that training up until her departure, October 1st. So with the promotion of Colin, he was a tax specialist. Now he's been promoted to the chief deputy treasurer. We have a vacancy in the tax specialists. I also have another person who's retiring. She's a tax specialist, so that'll create another vacancy after November 1st. So just some staffing changes that are going on. I've been very blessed and lucky to have a very strong team in my office and have not had a lot of turnover. Unfortunately, times do change, and so retirement is an option for some of these people, so they're moving on to the next chapter in their life, so to speak. Any questions that I can answer with regard to the report or other information?
Doesn't look like it.
All right, thank
Karen.
you.
We're down to 4C, IT procurement of 2 network switches.
Good morning, everyone. This is a request to purchase 2 network switches. These will replace the switches in our core network. These are basically the big heavy-duty switches that handle our network infrastructure. This is part of a process to replace existing core switches that have gone obsolete in the 2014-2015 timeframe. We have a total of 5 switches. We've replaced 1, which came before the board several months ago. We're asking for 2 on this round, and then we'll replace the final 2 by the first quarter of next year.
Questions? Okay, any discussion on the motion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed?
Thank you. The next item is a request to procure a Exagrid device. This is a unit that is used to back up county data. As part of this process of moving into the newer technologies, we're going to be using this to replace older tape-based technologies. So this device will replace technology called a TerraStation, which is a tape-based backup system. The older tape systems have problems in that they're slow and they're not as accurate. Occasionally you'll have issues with them that will require extra work to recover data. This also will enable us to back up our data much more quickly and provide a more robust ability to recover deleted or lost data.
Dave?
Don, do we have Exagrid equipment right now or not?
Yes, we do. We have 2 other Exagrid units. So basically, what we've been doing is working in a phased approach to phase out the older legacy tape systems and bring in the Exagrid technology. Our data growth is significant because we have so many applications that are online now. And of course, once you get a system online, they tend to accumulate more data. So our needs are growing. And one of the issues that we have with the tape solution is that it takes so long to back up onto tape that we're rapidly approaching the point where it's going to take longer to back up than the backup window we have to perform the backup. So this technology will enable us to do that much more quickly.
Any other questions? Okay, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed?
Thank you.
Health Department budget amendments.
Thank you, Madam Chair, Commissioners. We're asking for your approval of budget amendments for the Health Fund. The main changes here are there's additional revenue from Medicaid cost reimbursements. And a little background here. Say 1 to 2 years ago, the state was behind in making these payments to us. They have now caught up to some extent, and also they are advancing on a quarterly basis the funds. Each year, we report out, it's basically, among other things, was based on the number of contacts that the clinic has with the public. So in this case, there's an additional $600,000 of revenues that we need to reflect in the budget. In addition to that, there's 2 other grants where there's extra revenue, federal and state grants, and we're also, all of the other changes here reflect the changes necessary to clean up the fund because we're approaching the end of the fiscal year for this particular fund, which is September 30th. Thank you.
I'd move to send it to the full board.
Okay. All those in favor? Opposed?
Yes, in this case, we're proposing a budget amendment which increases the indirect cost reimbursement from the Child Care Fund to the general fund. Each year, we do a indirect cost study. This is performed by Maximus. This determines the county-wide costs that are allocated to the various funds of the county. In addition to that, the Child Care Fund requires a special add-on study that's done. And so in accordance with this, there's additional funds available that will be charged to the Child Care Fund. And in this case, we get 50% of it back from the state as reimbursement of costs of the Child Care Fund. But more importantly, these funds, 100% of it goes back to the general fund. So again, we're asking for your approval of this.
Do I have a motion, or any questions? First of all. Okay, Okay, and
Sure.
so.
Well, yeah, not exactly, but, the answer, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, now,
Okay.
well, what we did do, the additional budget amendment was to get through this fiscal year, and which was to bring it up to, well, it's over, it's $2,250,000 in total cost. Previously, we budgeted $1,750,000. For the new budget year, we're budgeting $2 million. So what our intent there is if they go above the 2 million, then they will have to come to us and request additional funds. To my knowledge, at this point in time, I'm not aware of a need for any further adjustments in 17.
Okay, thank you. Any other discussion? All right, approval, I'm sorry. We already got a motion. Okay, all those in favor of the motion as requested, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, motion carried. We're at the financial statement.
Yes, we're presenting to you the year-to-date financial statements through July 31st. Our budget benchmark is 58.3%. Actual expenditure to date is below that, 56.8. If we look at a 3-year average, which is 56.9. So we are, to use a technical term, we're a tad below the historical trend, which is good. On the revenue side, we're a bit above the pace from the prior year. So I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions? Doesn't look like it. Thank you, Jim.
Good.
Mike, administrator fee schedule.
The fair was added. They indicated that the fair board is reviewing the fees at this point, and there may be some changes based on the fair board's decision, but they're not sure at this point.
Yeah, if there's any changes, it's going to be in storage fees.
The animal shelter is proposing a slight increase in their adoption fees. It's the very last, very bottom. For the dogs, $30, which would include, currently, apparently they only microchip certain breeds, and it's $20 for that microchip. So for some breeds, it would be $140. They're proposing $150 for the new fee, which would include microchipping for all breeds. So, yeah.
Can I ask a question on the animal shelter adoption fees? Do we anticipate that's going to negatively impact adoptions, or where are we at? Do we know where we're at right now with numbers of dogs there, or cat for that matter?
Based on what they indicated to me, they indicated sometimes they have an overabundance of cats, and that they occasionally do have cat sales where they would reduce the fee on a particular day to move the cats faster. But they didn't indicate any concern over the dogs. It was cats that seemed to be in overabundance.
Do we move this to the full board, or what do we do with this?
Yeah.
Okay, so I just need a motion to move this fee schedule to the full board.